Hello, everyone. Today I will be going to Europe. I will check the workings of the places that I'll be staying in three different European countries: Czech Republic, Poland, and Norway. Prague, here we come. Okay, I finally managed to make it to Prague, and today I'm going to show you some of the oddities of my little bathroom over here. So, first of all, here is a typical Czech outlet, which is used in the Czech Republic as well as Poland, Slovakia, France, and Belgium. The rest of Europe uses different outlets. Then we have this hair dryer, which looks like it has been directly wired in to some electrical box back there. That's kind of strange. Uh, there's the mirror. Hi. Then there's this little towel rack over here, which looks like it has some sort of control knob over there until you realize that it's actually plugged in over here, and this is actually a heater. If I can unplug this thing. Ah, yeah, that's your European grounded plug. This is actually a heater, and if you turn on a switch, then it will start heating and drying all of the various stuff that's hanging up over here. Also, I should mention that there's this little laser cut piece of wood over here which says, "Don't try to mimic waterfalls." What the heck? It probably just means don't try to use too much water, although this could very well be well translated, but it's just trying to sound more metaphorical. Then there's the shower, which has a shower head over there, a movable shower head. And it only has the door, only it's a hinging door, and it only covers part of the bathtub. So you could actually take this shower head and then end up pointing it directly outside, spraying water all over the bathroom, and there's nothing preventing you from doing that because this door doesn't cover the entire thing. And then also, this window over here, this is an old-fashioned window with a wooden frame. This is a bathroom, so the window has been blurred out. But you can open the window like this. That's kind of strange because now you don't have any privacy anymore. And also, there's this weird wire. I have no idea what this is. And it really is a long way down. You can also, just like with most European windows, you can also open it like this to get partially open like that so that it's more private too. And then we have a typical European toilet with two button flushing, small button for number one, large button for number two, and apparently the tank must be hidden behind there. So that's your tour of the Czech bathroom. Now I am done with my stay in Prague. Next stop is in Poland. To Knurów we go. Okay, so I managed to make it to Knurów, and now I will be showing you some of the oddities of this little apartment room that I am staying in. This is my grandmother's apartment. It's not a hotel, so some things will be different over here. Okay, so first of all, the main difference compared to the hotel is that there is a cast iron radiator over here. This, for those who don't know what cast iron radiators are, the concept is that you have hot water coming in through these pipes, regulated by this little knob over here, and then the hot water flows through this series of tubes and allows it to transfer its heat to the air, which ends up heating the air. And this style of heating is very commonly used in Europe, but it is not commonly used in the US. In the US, we have a gigantic forced air heater in a attic or a basement or a utility closet, and that directly heats the air and pipes it through a series of ducts through vents typically in the ceiling or in the floor. And this is an old-fashioned style. The new one has plates with hollow spaces. This one has gigantic hollow tubes. And this is some sort of temperature controller, I think. Yeah, that's a temperature controller. This is the summer right now, so we don't need the radiator. And there is the typical European windows with some nice little blinds here. Your typical European windows with down being locked, not horizontal being open, wide open, and vertical allowing you to open it like this. Nice. And then, as far as I can tell, we have a single European outlet in this room. Unlike the Czech Republic, where if you have a double outlet like this, the both need to be in the exact same orientation with the ground pin on top. In Poland, it's the other way around because if you have two right angle appliances, then the the cords end up going out like that and that instead of just both going in the same direction. You wouldn't be able to plug two in at the same time, which would defeat the purpose. But this is your typical European socket, and that is a European phone charger. And I wouldn't be surprised if there is another socket hidden behind all of this furniture. There is a lot of furniture in this room. Now, let's see what surprises we'll have in the bathroom. Okay, here we are in the bathroom. First of all, we have a Type-C socket over here. It's just like the one in the other room, but it doesn't have a ground pin, yet you can still fit a plug that requires ground. Like this, as you can see, it has a hole over here for the Type-E socket and contacts on the sides for the Type-F socket, but there are no such contacts into here, yet uh, you can still plug it in, and now the ground contact is floating. So that could have some safety issues. And then we have the toilet with the two-button flushing, except that it's a lot smaller. Oh, ugh. And then here is the sink. I mean, it's just a sink, there's not much to it. But then over here, this is the bathtub. It has a movable shower head, and this is just like the bathroom where you can just spray the shower head, the water all over here. But this is even worse because it's actually designed to be like this. Although, to be honest, I can't really blame it because this bathroom has to be very small because this is a small apartment. And I mean, you just have to think about this when the water heater is literally installed right above the bathtub. This is the water heater for the bathtub and probably some other stuff too. And the good thing about this is that you have pretty much instant hot water here at the bathtub because the hot water line literally goes from here through this mesh pipe down into here and right out the faucet or through the shower head, depending on how you got it. And then here is a washing machine, tiny washing machine, but I mean, you have to be tiny in a small apartment. And then you have these two metal pipes or conduits. I'm not really completely sure what these are, but it just adds to the industrial Cold War feel of this place. Also, one more thing, there is one light up here, which is controlled by this switch in the hallway. But there's also a second light up there. But what switch controls it? Well, this one. You can't really tell, but yeah, there you go. This looks like a lamp cord switch. They, they run the wires from this outlet, which also serves as a junction box, I guess. Uh, one into this switch and then one out this switch. Is this a double pole switch? It just looks like a regular lamp cord switch, so it might only be single pole. And I don't really know what's going on. It looks like it's filled with some sort of resin. This is your typical communist era uh, dodgy house wiring that somehow lives up to this day. 3 phase. Next stop, Norway. So, I made it to Norway, and now we're going to look at some of the workings of two locations, the bathroom where I am now and the room that I am staying in. This is a single family home, so it'll be interesting to look at some of the differences. So, first of all, the trash can is pretty small, but I can't really blame that because, well, it's just people making their own personal decisions. The door, it doesn't look like it was properly mounted, but I think this is just because the person who lives here really likes to do projects on his house. He went to school for carpentry and he likes doing projects of this sort, so it might end up looking a little rough on the edges, but it's still perfectly acceptable. And this is the absolute best part. Let's get this key in. Let's get this little plush heart toy out of the way. You literally have the world's most stereotypical lock and key. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I love it. Anyway, then there's the shower with both a regular one and a shower head, and the doors are held together magnetically, which is interesting. You can go inside, and the shower head, unlike the other one, unlike the other showers that I've been in, it's actually quite a bit harder to get the shower head to be pointing outside unless you actually go up and above, which you aren't actually very likely to do. So that's definitely a plus. And then we have the toilet. I mean, it's pretty typical, other than the fact that it has just a single button rather than two, which functions. I mean, I'm not sure why they did that. Must be that this toilet is very slightly cheaper. Then there's the bathtub. And I should probably also mention something about the sinks. It's a double sink, but it's actually pretty hard to turn this thing on. It's there's no water right now, but if I turn it just a little bit, it suddenly starts spewing like this, and it's has plenty of bubbles mixed in with it, which isn't exactly great. And then there are the windows. These are unlike typical European windows. Well, never mind the dryer. These are unlike typical European windows because instead of the handle being on the side or on the side, the handle is on the bottom, and horizontal means that it's locked closed, and then you can turn it like this to crack it open like that, but you cannot fully open the window. This might just be because it's a bathroom, and it's not very great to have bathrooms with fully open windows like that bathroom in the Czech Republic. But it's just, if all windows are like this, it's going to be very annoying. And then there are a washer and dryer. And over here, we have a Type F socket that is typical for use in most of Europe, along with a flat European plug. And this is way more common than the Type E socket that's used in Poland, Czech Republic, Slovakia, France, and Belgium. And it's just, this is kind of crunchy because it's pretty old. But anyway, that's the bathroom. Now let's go to the main room where I'm staying. Okay, so I am in the main room right now. The first thing that we're going to notice is that there are 3 Edison-style lamps up there, and they are turned on with this switch. That's nice. They are warm white. They're the Edison-style lamps, but they are actually LED filaments. For some reason, this is how it's like in most of the house. The wires are actually running on the surface, which is a very strange move because this house is so old that it actually had some electrical wiring added to it at some point. So that's interesting. Now we have this extremely conveniently placed Type F socket over here. And I forgot to point out the difference between this type of socket and the Type E. The way the Type F grounds the plugs is that it has 2 little grounding clips on either side. This little one down here and this one up here. And in the Type F socket, there is a ground pin that's from the tip, and it still works with my dodgy travel adapter, but these little plastic bits kind of get in the way. The Type F socket, as like I said, it's more commonly used in Europe, and of course Norway, the place that I'm staying, uses this. And now, let's go down to the rest of the room. There is a light dimmer, as you can tell. You can change the brightness of lights. Well, it's auto exposure, so it's going to look like it's the same brightness, but hopefully you can tell the brightness is changing. And that's about as dim as you can get. Yeah, hopefully you can tell that it's a light dimmer, and of course it's the click on, click off kind, and it's good. And then there's this little thermostat, I think, over here. And then on the other side has this little sofa bed over here. And then if we get into this really tight space, we find another Type F outlet and a big lamp, floor lamp, with an LED filament bulb. And as you can tell, it's LED filament. It's 2700 incandescent temperature. And then I should also probably mention this little entertainment system over here, consisting of a TV, some speakers, some players, and an absolutely massive stack of CDs, and a Super Nintendo? That's odd. And, I mean, it's just kind of interesting. And also, there are plenty more DVDs stored up there. Anyway, that's about it for the Norway. So, I am back from Norway and am in Knorup with an amazing view. Next, I will be going to a all-inclusive hotel in the south of Poland called Hotel Gołębiewski, a town called Wisła. It's a mountain village. It's going to be great. Let's go. Okay, so I have made it to Hotel Gołębiewski, and let's show you some of the things around the room, starting off with the bathroom. So, first of all, it has some of these lights. Let's see if we can spot any flicker. I can't see anything. Oh, that's probably just the auto flicker on the camera. There are a couple of these outlets on the side, but this is kind of strange because normally you only see these types of outlets on the outside. It has a cover, And then there is your outlet with the ground pin, of course, because this is Poland. And this type is normally only mounted on the outside, but there's in the inside too. Here's another one. Nice. And then there's the hotel soap, which is pretty annoying and slippery. And then there's the mirror. And this weird hair dryer. It's just a hair dryer on a stand, but it also appears to be wired directly into the wall, just like that hair dryer in the Czech Republic was. And it also has a couple sockets on the side that say for shavers only. And it just looks like this is pretty strange because it says 220. That's probably the voltage of the outlets, and both of them are can accept North American standard, and one can accept the European standard. So as you can see, this one at the top, you can plug in a North American appliance with this sort of plug, and you can also plug in a European appliance with this sort of plug. It's a double plug, but you also have this one on the bottom, which is only North American and only accepts the North American stuff. And it's also pretty hard to push in. So there you go. It's strange that both of these are 220 volts because if anything, you'd expect this one to be 110 or 120 volts because that's what North American devices are designed to run on. It doesn't matter for switching power supplies or phone chargers because these are rated for universal voltage. But shavers, I'm not really sure if shavers have switching power supplies in them. So if you have a 110 volt shaver and you plug it into here, then it's going to get 220 to 240 volts, and it might end up blowing up. And next, there is this little heater over here. It might not seem like a heater. I'm actually not completely sure if this is a heater. It's just a towel rack. Uh, but it just looks like it would be a heater. And if you look down here, there are two fittings of some sort, but they aren't any sort of valve. This might look like a valve from first glance, but nope. It's just a lid covering a strange hex socket. That's nice. And in behind here, I can't really tell. It just looks like dust behind there. And then the toilet with the two-button flushing, and oh dear. And then the shower, I mean, it was used just a couple hours ago, but I'll still try to do what I can. It has a movable shower head and a regular shower head, and you can still point the movable shower head out of the shower, but it's pretty hard, unlike that bathroom in the Czech Republic and the apartment I was in. The knob has a pretty interesting temperature control because normally with this sort of knob where you uh, turn it this way to adjust the temperature and turn it this way to adjust the flow. Uh, the temperature usually all the hot is just on one side and then it's cold for the rest of the time. But in this case, it's actually the opposite. There's more hot area than cold. That's kind of strange. And then, of course, some soap and stuff. Now, let's see what's outside the bathroom. Okay, this is the entrance of the room right outside the bathroom. And something interesting over here, this bathroom door, that's the door to the bathroom, has a door closer fitted to it. If you can even call this a door closer, it's just a spring-loaded metal bar that just keeps the door closed. It's kind of terrible, but I guess it works. And if anything, you wouldn't want to keep the bathroom door closed because you might take a shower in there and it gets really humid and you need to let that humidity out somehow. And then there is the hotel card socket. Basically, if you've never been in a hotel that has this sort of thing before, you put the card in to get power to everything, and you have to take the card out uh, to just go somewhere. Then all the power gets off, so if you accidentally leave something on, that isn't an issue. But the strange thing about this is that if I slowly insert the card so that you can hear anything, I'm going to be very quiet. You hear that thump? That's probably a contactor, just a giant electromechanical switch somewhere up in the ceiling, maybe in that mysterious box over there. And that's just a big, nasty switch that turns on and off. And then next, here is the main desk with some typical Polish outlets. And then over here, there is a very small kettle with a 0.8 liter maximum capacity and minimum capacity of 0.3 liters. That's very small. And a nice European ground plug. There are two folding beds back here. That's nice. And then there is this, what looks like an HVAC unit. If you've ever been in a hotel in North America, especially in smaller hotels, they have this sort of window AC slash heater unit that looks kind of like this. But this is very atypical, especially in a country like Poland, where you usually use radiators for heat and very often do not have AC at all because most of the time you don't even need AC. There is this weird lid over here, which leads to a terminal block and some suspiciously thin wires. Let's just hope those are only control wires or ground wires and not actual current carrying wires, because that would be absolutely terrifying if those carried the full current of an air conditioner. And over here, there is the hotel telephone, Panasonic, and an outlet and a switch. This switch controls this light. And then on the other side, there is another outlet and switch combination, which controls this light. And then over here, we have this switch, which controls this light. And then this double switch over here controls both of those lights. Which is kind of interesting because you have two switches that control the lights. This light over here can be controlled by either that switch or that switch, and same thing for the other one. So there's probably some sort of crazy. I'm not really sure how this thing works. I'm not very educated in electrical systems, and this is a thermostat unit, I suppose. Looks kind of interesting. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to mention. The room has a balcony door, which opens like this. And then here is the balcony, facing the mountain, of course. So, of course, you don't have any nice views. And instead, that hotel up there gets all the nice views, Hotel Crystal, because they're just built different. And also, there is a pretty typical single section European window up here with the handle that you can horizontally to lock or vertically to lock, horizontally to open fully, and open it like this to crack it open for just a little bit of air. Okay, I am back in Knurów, and at this point my vacation is pretty much over. However, I will do one more electrical inspection because I'm going to go from Knurów all the way to Frankfurt to catch my flight back to America, and I will end up staying at a hotel in Frankfurt to spend the night before I get on the plane in the morning, and I want to see what sort of surprises we have over there, especially since Germany uses Type F sockets and plugs, while Poland and most of the other places that I've been to, with the exception of Norway, use Type E plugs. Let's go. Oh, also, I got a haircut. Doesn't look any good, thanks. So, I made it to Frankfurt, and now let's check out the room. Just like many of the other hotels I've been in, the hairdryer is directly wired into this box over here. Here is a Type F socket with the spring contacts and the plastic bits on the side. A bottle of soap that's attached here. The sink has your typical handle with temperature controlled like this and flow controlled like this. And the sink is raised above the rest of the countertop. That's interesting. And then the mirror has recessed LED lights in here, which I like. Tissue dispenser, And this little placard, which claims that huge quantities of detergent are polluting our water, which is kind of ridiculous because if that was actually true, then Germany would have no sewage treatment plants, which is kind of ridiculous because Germany does certainly have sewage treatment plants which remove the detergent from their water. And what does this have to do? What is this? What does this placard have to do with this over here? Please decide for yourself. Decide for yourself, you mean? And then it just says what you want to do. And this isn't even, this entire part over here isn't even necessary. And then the toilet, two button flushing, and more tissue dispenser and toilet paper. And then in the shower, despite this being the newest bathroom of all of them that I've been in, the movable shower head still can be pointed outside the shower. Oh dear. That's kind of ridiculous. And then there are two more soap dispensers, and then a very strange way of controlling the shower head. Normally, if you have two knobs, it's hot and cold, but this one is temperature and flow, which I think is better than hot and cold. It's kind of like if you've ever made colors on a computer, you have either hue, saturation, or brightness, or red, blue, and green. Hot and cold knobs is like red, blue, and green, and hue, saturation, and brightness is like temperature and flow. And that's about all for this tiny hotel in Frankfurt. Okay, I am back in America now, and I hope you enjoyed my little point of view of my vacation to Europe this year.